recording. Let's see if I can do that again.
Yes.
So the recording is gonna be like, what is she doing? Making those hands. Y'all saw it. Y'all saw the fireworks go off. Okay. So now we are recording. But what we're going to do is breath work for centering. And I want to make sure that, for one, since you're a part of the Europe experience, it tells me that you are a highly motivated student, which means that you're taking multiple classes and you're probably on the go. So this is an opportunity for us to just hit pause, be present with our breath. So if you feel comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. And as I said earlier, we are not going to stay here long. We're simply just going to breathe and be present with our collective breath. So I invite you to inhale and exhale. We're going to do that 3 times, and each time I will count for 4. So I want you to inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. That was the entry level breath work. We're still going to do a count of 4 for part 2. And if you just joined us, we are engaging in breath work. So welcome to the Omni Institute of Wellbeing. This is the way we start our meetings. We are now on breath number 2. It's still going to be a 4 count, but you'll notice that it is a lot slower. So inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. This last one is going to be at your own pace, and when you're finished with your 4 count, please open your eyes and we will get started. Let's begin. And welcome back. All right. So Erin is on the line, and Erin was in your position last year. So I'm going to turn it over to her, and she has a presentation for you.
Okay, hello, everyone. I'm loading up our presentation. And let me know if you can see it in present mode.
Not yet.
Okay. Mhm. I'll just start from outset. Okay, let me know if it shows in present.
It's starting. It's trying to. It's thinking. It's tired too. All right, there it is.
Okay, perfect. So welcome everyone. My name is Erin, and this is our presentation on Dear Beloved SoulFlower, the building of a social media brand. And so this is going to be the social media side of the research project. Just an introduction to what the Omni Institute of Wellbeing is. It is an organization that focuses on redefining the Black experience. And so we focus on this term called Black joy, which is looking holistically at what is it that Black individuals go through. And our focus has been Black women so far. And we ask kind of what brings you joy? What is something that makes you feel fulfilled as an individual? What empowers you? And we look at that through the lens of public health. And so it's really increasing like what does it mean to be healthy and rejecting the idea of trauma-based narratives that you usually hear associated with Black and Brown communities. So instead of just looking at stereotypes and the pressures that we carry and all of the poor health conditions that kind of prevail throughout these communities, we want to see what are positive things that can kind of be pushed instead so that we can present positive cycles that are continued in the Black communities and increase health overall for people. And so when I joined this project, I was working on what was called SoulClap. That was our inaugural journal that incorporates research and creative writing. We are going to be accepting submissions this year to that journal, so it's really cool just to see it come full circle. But you all will be working on the beloved SoulFlower project. But to encourage you all to join the Omni Institute and hopefully to continue with Europe, we just want to let you know what that experience was like. So, as Dr. Omni said, I was in your shoes last year, exactly 1 year ago, going through interviews. And when I started, I was very focused on law school. And so I told myself I was just going to go to the sessions that are just for politics, criminology, and law. Europe requires you to go to one class that's kind of outside of your discipline of intention. And so I read the Soul Clap project at the time, and I said, "This sounds really interesting. I'm gonna pop into it and see what it's all about." And that was really all it took. When I was in the Zoom session, Dr. Omni did what she just did with you all. We started out with breath work and was really focused on just being grounded, being present, and asking, what does it mean to do human-centered research and to understand that there's a human part that comes first. And that was the first time I'd been in a space where my mentors, my supervisors actually cared about me as a person instead of simply just a project and someone who's just a number getting a project done. And so I decided the Omni Institute was where I wanted to do my Europe experience. And it was an incredible choice. I was able to participate with interviews with our research participants last year, helping contribute to question development, drafting a research paper on what we called at the time autoethnography, where you reflect on your experiences, connect them to the experiences of your research participants, and connect it to existing research within the field. And obviously, that was Black Joy, looking at concepts like womanism and self-empowerment and just what it means to have holistic health. And so that was just a little bit on that project. And I would encourage you, if you are considering the Omni Institute as your home base, that this is an incredible team to join. Dr. Omni is very focused on developing you as an individual and also as a researcher. So you will learn what it means to do holistic research. You will learn about literature reviews, which we'll cover, be able to write your own paper, come up with a tangible product at the end of this. And you'll also have the opportunity to present. So as part of the Europe program, of course, you're going to participate in the presidential symposium at the end of the year. And the picture on the left is me and my research partner, who you will meet and have an opportunity to work with this year. And then you can also have other opportunities. I was able to present with Dr. Omni and my research partner at the Yanni conference, which is the international conference at the Association for Autoethnography and Narrative Inquiry. And then I was also able to present in South Florida at the Florida Undergraduate Research Conference. And this is me with some of my peers last year. So it's an incredible holistic experience. Specifically as to the social media and media side, last year after I worked on the research, I was able to come on as a brand and marketing intern and work on developing the foundation of our social media, which you guys will help us build. So I started out with the website. That was essentially a project where we're looking to consolidate all of the projects that Dr. Omni had worked on and all of the projects that were being developed within the Omni Institute for the coming years, and really have a platform where people could come here and see what is the essence of the Omni Institute. And so you see images like this, where we are trying to show people who represent the Black and Brown community and just really create a website that makes you feel welcomed, but you can also see it's professional and full of research. And so it's kind of behind the scenes working on that platform. And specifically as to what you all will be doing. You will be coming in as mentees, helping us build up the social media platform. And so our focus this year is starting out with Instagram. And so you're doing the beloved SoulFlower letters. And so that will be a combination of research and social media. You all will be working on literature reviews, which are essentially reflections on existing academic articles. And so Dr. Omni has an incredible format, and it is created by someone else, but we just use that as our theory base for literature reviews. It's called CQ plus Q. And so that is when you're going to read an academic article on a given topic. I used one of my examples here. I connected Black women's experiences with religion and the environment. We were looking at Black joy in nature. And so that was something I was interested in. And so I took an article on Melanie Harris's Principal Equilibrianism. I summarized it after reading it, going through and highlighting important factors. And then I worked on the 3C and the Q part, which is coming up with a compliment. What about this paper was done quite well? What do you think it really stood out in as so far as like contributing to current research? And so that was the compliment section. Then we had a comment section. Just is there something that you were really led to think of on your own as you were working on reading this article and maybe potentially diving further into a certain area of research? Then we have our connection section. What did it personally bring to you? And what ideas do you think it might stem for your own ability to do your own research in the future? And then lastly, you have your question. Are there any questions that I had for you? And then picking out any quotes. Is there any powerful way of phrasing that you saw that really stood out? Anything that you'd like to use? And that section is really helpful because you could essentially use that on your poster at the end of the year, just to share with your peers any thoughts that really stood out with this project for you. And so after you all go through your literature reviews, you're going to take that and create your beloved soul letters. This is just an idea of kind of what I started doing last year for general promotion, some samples for Instagram and kind of the color scheme, the vibe that we're going with. But we want to give you all creative freedom to work this year. So you're going to delve deep into the topics that you like, come up with your literature reviews, find the research aspect to really solidify your understanding of what is Black joy, what is wellness, what is public health. And then you're going to take your own thought and figure out how do I want to visualize this? How do I want to share this with the world? And whatever you all come up with your beloved SoulFlower letters will actually be posted on our Instagram page this year. And when you all come on, we are starting our launch of the Instagram page. There will be a huge launch for our journal submissions coming out on September 23rd. And so we're going to be launching that. It will be something going viral across campus, across Tallahassee, hopefully across the state and the world if we can reach different dynamics and regions. So we're really excited for that. So whoever's coming on for our social media project, you will be coming on at a very big moment in our Omni history, and your work will be viewed by several people. So we want you to bring your passion, bring your ideas, bring your creativity, and just be yourself. And this is just an idea of the backgrounds. It will be something that will require your time, your energy. We will work with you, of course. Communication is a huge part of the Omni Institute, but you'll be doing tangible research and you'll walk away with a solid understanding of how social media works and how research works. So this is just kind of an overview of the timeline. Obviously, this month you all will be doing your onboarding process, going through and figuring out what teams you want to be a part of. Over the next 2 months, we will work with you to understand how to do literature reviews, start working on your beloved SoulFlower letters, and updating a database based on the literature reviews that you make. And then you'll have a break, a solid break during December, and then we'll come back, wrap up your literature reviews and database work, and then you'll work on your poster. And the way Dr. Omni runs the ship, your poster will be so much less stressed compared to your peers because we've gotten the work done. It's very thorough. So when they start asking you to create that poster, you'll just be pulling from what you already have with this project. And yeah, these are our contacts if you want to get to know more or reach out to us afterwards.
I love listening to this presentation. I'm biased, but that was righteous. Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much. So now we're going to turn it over to you. One of the things that Erin mentioned was joy. And part of the research question is asking what amplifies your joy. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Whoever wants to go first of the four of you, tell me one, what is amplifying your joy right now? And two, ask any questions that you have of us.
Hi. Oh, sorry. You could go. Are you sure? Okay. I guess one thing that may be amplifying my joy right now is kind of the calmness in the air, or like I just feel like there's a very like more relaxed approach to this, and I'm a um very stressed person usually. So just having that kind of like calming space to come into is really like I really appreciate that. So that's definitely something that amplifies my joy. Anything that's able to bring me any sort of peace and any amount that I can get, I'll take any of it. So I appreciate that. Um, and then the question that I feel like you have already kind of answered this question, but the question that I came up with when reading your summary on the project database was when writing love letters for cultural and ancestral memory, how are you able to also keep in mind younger generations in that process? But I feel like the social media aspect is already hitting and checking off those boxes. So
And I'm glad you actually brought that up because what I should say in the future is ancestral and elder memory. One of the things that I did not do when I was younger, which I regret, was spend time with my grandma. I have to now look at her words that are written inside of the Bible to learn more about her. So my grandma used to journal inside of her Bible. So if we can give students the opportunity, 18, 19, in your 20s, to reconnect with your grandparents, that's going to be that cultural memory that we want to bring into this space. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, and I'll make that change next time.
Okay. So something that amplified my joy, I think like she said, like all the other like round tables I've been to, like I think this one is like the most put together only because especially like the way she explained the timeline and like her saying like the poster won't be as stressful. I know that's really like a very minuscule part of the project, but like listening and saying how like, okay, when February comes, the poster, it's really just a walk in the park only because you're spreading out information over months. And I've gotten back into the gym because I finally made time in my schedule. So I think that's like been something that I'm proud of in managing like with all the other stuff I have going on. And a question I have when I was reading your summary on the project database, I was just wondering, like, since you started this whole thing, like, how did you like incorporate this? I know you said you kind of just answered it with how like you're reading, you read the words of your grandma's Bible, but like, do you feel like this like helped transform your life in a way, like just the way you run things and the way like everything's put together?
Do you see this answer? Absolutely, positively. I would not have gotten into my grandma's Bible if it was not for the dissertation. And my second year in my PhD program, there was a project called Subjectivity Statement. So, doing a subjectivity statement, you have to identify why you do what you do. So, I'm an eco spiritualist. I love plants, I love nature, I love trees, and I feel like they communicate to me. And since it's not a common practice, and in my family, my mom was a Christian, my dad's a Christian, my grandma's a Christian, and for me, I mean, even my name is Crystal. It's spelled Christal. So my mama put Christ in my name. But learning inside of my grandma's Bible that she had a private connection to nature, that was all I needed. That was like that spiritual reach back, that ancestral memory that says there is something to this work. Continue to do it and move forward. So I was born in 1974. My grandma wrote these words in 1973. Never be afraid of trees. We will never leave you. And sun is true witness. These words were written before I was even thought of, and they have informed where I am today.
Thank you for your answer. It was really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Genevia. Something that I guess brings me joy is definitely like being surrounded by like love from my family, my friends. I feel like I was really like sad when I moved back to Tally because I miss my family, but like I also live with my friends, so I feel so much of the love that they give me, and it like makes me feel like I have a small part of home here. And then my question was, I was gonna say like, how does like the words from your grandma's like Bible tie back to your work? But you kind of already just answered that. So I wanted to ask like, how does like your work and like helping other people kind of reflect with their ancestors? Like, how does that empower them? Like, have you seen like, like different people like saying like how it like help inspire them with like do different other things in their life, or like if it's helped them kind of like find a different path in their life or like something like that.
I couldn't plan these questions if I tried. Aaron is right here. So I'm going to, I won't hear, I won't listen. I'll let Aaron answer that question.
Okay, I want to say Dr. Omni has been incredibly impactful for my life, and I've also been here just to kind of see how people have approached her and just thanked her over the years for all of the things that she's been able to reveal to them personally. Within the Europe sphere, I think I'm very much like you, Elia. I am someone who's always running around, very stressed out, very like hectically busy trying to figure out the best thing that will build up my resume and make me look good to everybody else. And when I came onto this project, Dr. Omni was very much focused on getting me to be grounded in who I was, to take space, to breathe, to understand like what is important to me. And so from this project, I will, for one, say on a personal level, like I feel a lot more connected to who I am. I have started talking to my parents a little bit about like what are we, like what's our history, who are we as people. I am more confident just walking around campus. Yesterday, I had my hair out for the kids who were on the Zoom yesterday. Like I would never do that before this project because I was just so focused on stress and getting things done. What do people think? And I just feel a lot more confident as a woman, as a student and actually as a Black woman working here. And then the other thing I would say is that in the community, Dr. Omni runs a lot of different events, and I was able to be present at one of them. There was a Kwanzaa celebration in this last year, and Dr. Omni led a book study slash just community journaling study with different individuals and people from every background. It wasn't handpicked. She had nothing to do with the people who showed up. That almost every night, like we ended like crying and like really hugging each other because discussions, academic discussions about your ancestry and understanding like what it is that you've come through, and also just taking a moment to hold yourself accountable. Like, what is it that you want in your life, and what is it that you are working towards, really does shake you to your core. And to have a community of support and to know that you can grow and it's okay to grow outside of what you are and to grow outside of what people have told you that you are is something that is so empowering. And so she will impact you, but you'll also be able to see how the participants and the research individuals that you come into contact with have been changed as well.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. There's magic in the air. Yes, Jennifer.
So one way that I've been feeling joy lately is I'm kind of like Aaron and Ilya. Like I run around all the time, every day, trying to get a million thousand things done. So right now, what's been having me feel happy is just taking it day by day. Like every morning I wake up, I journal, and I like plan out my day. And that's really helped me with my mental health and getting things done day by day really has maximized my happiness because I feel like I'm not as stressed anymore and I feel like I'm enjoying my now and stop worrying about the future.
Hmm.
So that's been really, really helpful. I did have a question, but you've already answered it. So I'm just enjoying my time right now.
Okay. Fair, fair, fair. Well, looking at the time, we got through that in record time, so we still have 7 minutes left. Are there any other Yes, please. Pour in, pour in.
Hi. I this is a question as well as a statement. What you said about your grandmother really resonated with me because my grandmother is a first generation immigrant from Guyana, which is a small country in South America. And she is currently suffering early onset dementia. So, she lives like when I lived at home, she lived like 3 houses down from me. So I really have no excuse not to get to know her. But I would visit her every single day and, go grocery shopping with her. And like that was just one piece of my day that was always like I just visit her once a day, no matter what the situation is. And her and my mother have a very complex relationship. So I feel like there's definitely, distance in my family. And my mother was raised in Ohio as an American teenager. So there's a lot of distance between me and, Guyana and knowing about, me being Guyanese and Indian. But I guess my question was just like, would we be allowed to like research and do some sort of research into like our own heritage and our own, culture and like ancestors and stuff. Because I would really personally like to know more about Guyana coming from somebody who knows basically nothing about it. Like my distance that I have from it is extreme. And all I really have, my only connection back to Guyana is probably my grandmother and, what she tells me. And it's definitely been difficult, moving away from her and not being able to see her every day. She doesn't really have a phone right now, so I also cannot really contact her through the phone. So there's just a lot of distance between those places in my life.
I want to lead with thank you. I will answer your question, but I want to lead with thank you for the transparency that you don't know any of us, but you invited us in and told us a very personal story. And I respect that. And I deeply appreciate and hold space and honor that and hold space. So thank you. To answer your question, autoethnography is the one word answer. Erin talked about it on her poster. Autoethnography is my strong suit when it comes to research. Narrative inquiry is my strong suit when it comes to research. But people are like, well, what is that? It sounds good, but ethnographic research is about exploring cultures. Autoethnography is about exploring yourself situated within that culture. So her poster was an autoethnographic research through an intergenerational lens with a Black woman who I think your partner, Erin, was she 70?
She was 35, I think.
Okay, so your
Yes.
your
Mhm.
partner was 35, Gemini's partner was 70. So one of the things that we really focus on is how does your lived experience fit within the larger cultural context? And culture can be defined in a multitude of ways. So if you want to look at it through that lens of your grandma, then that's culture. Because hopefully, because this is all tying into love letters that will be, I mean, you think about a grandma. Not everybody has a good relationship with the grandma, but a lot of people are like, that's my homie. For for my daughter, she was crushed when, well, we called her mama, but when my mom died, she was crushed. Because that was her homie. How does she, as a 30-year-old Black woman, my daughter, situate herself within this conversation of aging grandma, larger cultural context, the conversation of cancer, so the larger cultural context could be health disparities. There are several ways that you can enter this discussion, but the ultimate output will be a love letter. Now, when you're crafting these love letters for the Omni Institute, we are generalizing them and we are focusing on nature inspired love letters. So we can't just say, Dear Grandma, we're building a brand. But sometimes when we write letters, just like when my grandma wrote that message about never be afraid of trees and sun is true witness, that was a love letter to me before I was born, and it was waiting for me to find it. So for social media posts, we want these to serve as love letters to people, even though in the back of your mind, you're writing this to your grandma. But yes, long way to say that is something that can be done. And it's called autoethnographic research.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. More time for more questions.
I have a question. I know
Absolutely.
you were just talking about like I know you just asked Erin like how old her partner was and the other person's partner. So like how does that whole thing go? Like so like if you can say let's just say like I'll use myself as an example. Like okay, you choose me to be one of your mentees. So like you get a partner in a sense or like or how is that?
That was a great question. And I'm sure my answer was very confusing, but that was their project last year. So this is year 4 of me partnering with Europe and bringing on research mentees. So up to this point, year 1, I had 4 mentees. Year 2, I had 2 mentees. Aaron and Gemini were part of year 3. And the year 1 mentees met with year 3 mentees. Actually, all 3 years came together for dinner at my house for a staff meeting. My husband cooked. And one of the things that year one said was we tend to go on side quest. So every year they had a different project. But that's what solidified the Omni Institute as like this for real research organization that's still rooted in holding space for healing. And this year, it really is about the social media. Erin built the foundation with the website design. She put a template together for the social media post for Instagram. This year is about taking 0 followers. Like when you create your poster, you're going to be able to put a bar graph of we have 0 post out right now. People don't even know about the Instagram handle because what, 2 days ago, Aaron? It was just 2 days ago that we switched it from Omni Institute to its branded name of Omni Institute of Wellbeing. So when you're coming on, this is all about Instagram. This is all about love letters. It's like kind of entrepreneurship within research. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, it did. I was just confused as to like, I know she said she had a partner, so I was just kind of like wondering how the whole thing worked.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I feel like I went on a tangent. I got all excited about side quest. My answer was a side quest. All right. Any other questions?
I had a question.
Yes, please.
I was wondering, how do you guide mentees while still letting them explore their own ideas? Like, what's your method or way of, still providing guidance, but still letting someone's individuality like shine through?
Is it okay if I give this question to Erin because she lived it?
Yeah.
Okay. Erin.
Okay. I think guidance is an interesting word when you're transitioning to high school and doing research. Dr. Omni's approach for us was we'll have our weekly meetings and we'll have like general targets that we're supposed to be reaching. But what we want to do with those targets was completely up to us. Obviously, we would like work it out, soundboard it with her. So for my research, for example, bringing up that religion aspect, that was something that was kind of completely out of my head. And I was like, this is something that was big in my family. My family was Caribbean. So like, could I do that? And she said kind of what she just said to you, Aaliyah, that autoethnography is the core of what we're doing. And so I went and did my reflection. I backed it up with research. I brought it to her. We did our literature reviews. And then we put that into the project and tied it into the idea of eco-womanism and kind of expanding it to tie into the theme of nature. And so Dr. Omni will give you targets for the year, and you'll have ideas like topics and themes generally to work with for your research, for the literature reviews, for those letters. But then if you want to expand, if you want to start a whole new research project, if you want to like look into ways you can tie this into like a social presentation or do something on campus, if you want your poster to be more than just a poster and turn into a presentation somewhere or present at Harvard for like the Black research students or something, like Dr. Omni will make a way to help you do that. So really it's as long as you meet the baseline guides of what she needs for you, you're free to be as creative as you want.
Thank you so much.
And I felt like if I would have answered that, I was biased, but I also want to add to that. So Erin, that's a marvelous answer. It is now 3 minutes over. So if anybody needs to leave, please let me know. Anybody need to leave? Okay, because there's a special way we end meetings too. So we'll come back to that. One of the other things, and I'm glad Erin pointed out the word guidance. I understand why you would use that word, but also for me, it's holding space. So even though this is a 7 hour a week assignment, well, it says between 5 and 10, so average 7 hour a week assignment for your Europe experience. If you show up on a Tuesday and I'm asking, how are you feeling today? And you're honestly telling me my head's not in it, then your head's not in it. Turn the camera off. If your head is really not in it and you need to lay down and cry, you need to go to the mental health office. See you next week. Because I don't want you to come here and not feel whole. Sometimes I show up or I'm sending a message that said my spirit is uneasy right now and I can't meet. I want to make sure that the name of our organization is representative of who we are. So it is Omni Institute of Well-Being. If we as a team are not well, then we cannot put forth good work. And we need to make sure that our cups are full first, whether it's considered, some people call it selfish. I call it self-preservation. I call breathwork self-restoration. So making sure that we hold space for the truth of what we're feeling, the work will get done. I remember one of the mentees just like for 2 weeks, life was lifing. But then come back week 3, she kicked out all the outputs that were necessary for the whole month because she had enough time to refill her cup. So I hope that adds on to the answer that Erin gave you.
It did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I did want to say you have a great philosophy. Like I know that was one of our questions for our pre-assignment thing, and like your philosophy is great. Like the way you just look at things and put it into perspective, that's lovely.
Thank you, Queen. I appreciate that. All right. So one of the things that we do when we end, and actually, I almost forgot something. Next steps. So it's my understanding that you have until Monday at 8 or 9 o'clock, and then at that point you can reach out. Aaron already put the timeline up, but specifically what we're looking to do is make a decision and start the onboarding process the first day of fall. I love to align our projects, our deadlines around new moons and full moons and seasonal cycles. So since our launch is going to happen on the 23rd, we want the team member to be identified by the 22nd. So just so you won't be left hanging, next week, if this is something that interests you, reach out. We will be scheduling interviews for the week following. Aaron, did we say Tuesday, Wednesday? What did we say?
Tuesday primarily, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to set a block of time I'm pulling out my phone just to see the date. I don't have it readily available. We're going to schedule interviews for the 16th, and then we will make our decision by the 19th and notify the person on the first day of fall, which is Monday, the 22nd. I just want you to be informed with the timeline so that you can make an informed decision. So this is the way we end. We start every meeting with breath work. We end every meeting with 3 things. The first thing is a high five. So I need y'all to like really put your hand up there. Give me a high five. I, I need a high five. I'm waiting on a high five. Thank you. All right. The second thing, we give hugs. The power of touch. So give yourself a hug. Might sound corny, but give yourself a hug. And last one, put that one finger in the air. This is hope. So we always end with high five, hugs, and hope. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll look forward to getting your email if you're interested.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think hers is frozen.
I think so.
A second.